I'm going to explain the ECW situation in the early 2000s with an example from my own life. I'm not going to talk about ECW. I'm just going to talk about an example from my own life. Me and my team were doing small-time TV, just dozen towns. Our content included sketches and comedy and wrestling and talk and bullshit. And then we had an opportunity to take it from 6 or 7 towns to most of southern New England. And we were going to do that by having the same content, the same program, the same format, but it was going to be, instead of public access, it was going to be on paid programming, infomercial slots at 10 o'clock on Saturday nights. Each episode was going to cost us $900. It went to, let's just say, 30 towns had the opportunity or the potential to see our show. So every Saturday night, we had to pay $900 to Cox Cable to get an hour TV slot. Now, after 4 episodes, we couldn't afford to pay for those TV slots, so we went off the air. The people that promoted us lied to us. The people that promoted us wanted us to get our own advertising, but they told us that in the 11th hour, and we went off the air. So in Heyman's position, everything that he did on TV outside of TNN had the same setup. He was doing paid programming spots, Sunshine Network, MSG Network, but instead of paying $900 an episode, he was probably paying like $12,000 an episode. And he wasn't making money off of it. He was just putting his TV, his TV product on TV so he could get people in the buildings and pay his talent and pay himself. But ultimately, it was to pay for his paid programming slots. So all the money that he had coming in from merchandise or ticket sales were going to his paid programming spots. When he got on TNN, he didn't get any cash, little to no cash, from the actual network to produce his TV product. And when the shit hit the fan, they dumped him, and he was stuck back on paid programming spots, which he couldn't afford because he had been losing his shirt doing it that way because it was expensive. It's expensive now. It was expensive 40 years ago. It was expensive 20 years ago. And nobody really does that. He just did it because it worked for the short term. If he had gotten on another TV network that would have paid him a healthy sum, then he could have continued his promotion and his programming. But doing it the way that he had been doing it for 4 or 5 years on paid programming spots wasn't viable for him anymore because he ran out of money. His personal money and the ticket sales and the merchandise sales weren't enough to keep paying the bill for the infomercial spots, the paid programming spots. And that's how he went out of business. And I used that same model with my TV show, The Ozone Hour, The Warehouse, Assault Championship Wrestling, the JP Ward Show, whatever, for 4 episodes. And for 4 episodes in the course of a month, cost me $3,000. And I was working at Circuit City at the time for minimum wage. My partners were all working retail, and the people that were in charge didn't want to fit the bill. They wanted us to do it. And we went out of business and went off the air. And that's pretty much what happened with ECW.